Microphone check 1 2 1 2. This is your host, not son, baby, and this is another episode of Swingers After Dark. I wanted to showcase an erotica story from Duchess Cashmere on the heels of the episode that we did. And she's a very talented storyteller. She's a very talented writer, a spoken word artist, straight from the dirty, baby, the dirty South. Ow. And I wanted to showcase the piece so I could become a vessel in regards to her support system, because I'm all about supporting the arts, me being a writer myself. And I used to rap back in the day. Yes, I used to get my boogie on a microphone. And considering the fact I'm a part of the arts and crafts, the artsy world of what have you, I wanted to showcase a fellow writer, a fellow poet, a fellow author. And, in the midst of me interviewing people from all walks of life in regards to the swing lifestyle, I think it's important to show support amongst the people in our respective community or in general, because we're the only ones we have. We all we got. You understand me? And I think it's important that I become a vessel of a support system in regards to Duchess Cashmere's art and her showcasing her art, because it's very good. It's very, very good. And this particular poem I love. Like, out of all the storytelling that she posted on her SoundCloud, once again, Google Duchess Cashmere, I enjoy Mr. 27 because it's very sensual, is fantasy like. She brings you into the story, she brings you into the scene. And I like it. I don't like it. I love it. I don't love it. I love it. And I just wanted to share this piece to my listeners. I could have added it on to the interview, but I'm like, the interview is long enough. I don't like when my interviews go past an hour. So I just figured, it's strong enough to stand alone, to stand on his own, to stand on its own 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, or how many orgasms and nuts that you bust from listening to this story. You feel me? So without further ado, enjoy.
Welcome to Erotic Stories with Duchess Cashmere here inside the Cashmere Room. Today's story, number 27. Welcome to the Cougar Club. Anyone who knows me knows that I've used an herbalist for over 20 years. Herbalists come from all walks of life: the hood, the library, the church, and sometimes they can double duty as a ladies' mechanic too. This one in particular, a melanated gentleman, he broke the mold, and he tried to break my back too. I shall call him number 27, even though he's number 114 on the list, but who's really keeping count? I call him that because he's 27 years old. Young, tender cougar meat. Being part of the Cougar Club was never a goal of mine. I had set a personal boundary upon myself to never have sex with anyone younger than my little brother, who's 32. I didn't feel like I was old enough to be number 27's mom, but it does happen. I definitely would not want my 17-year-old having sex with someone 16 years older than her. Like, hell no, we don't do that over here. So, I don't even really know how this happened. Okay, I'm lying. Yes, I do know exactly how it happened. It was a well-laid plan. It was like Catwoman meets Batman, circa 1968. He was powerless to my divine femininity. He probably really thinks that he did that. He probably thinks that he bagged me. Sweet, sweet number 27. He has no idea. He would come over with my monthly herbal delivery, calling me ma'am, keeping it all very professional. He was tall and brown like coffee with canned milk in it. He had cornrows and a full beard. That's a sign of rich blood, as Big Mama would say. Always in basketball shorts and slides with white socks. Yeah, he was that nigga. Yes, ma'am, this, and no, ma'am, that. I got your stuff, Miss Lady. Oh, he was quite charming. And that ma'am shit, between me and you, it made my pussy wet. I always detested being called ma'am. I didn't want to feel old, but hell, I know that I'm a lady of a particular age, and coming off his lips, that ma'am, it hit different. He was way taller than me, so I was looking up at him, and he was looking down at me, calling me ma'am. I thought to myself, I'm gonna fuck this young man. I manifested that thing right into existence. Ashe, ashe, ashe. The next month, he came over to make my delivery. I wore a muumuu. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can hear you. A muumuu is not technically sexy, but a full lace muumuu with red cheeky panties is something very special, darling. I invited him all the way in the house to have a seat while I pretended I couldn't find my money in my purse. I could feel his gaze linger on me. He asked in almost a whisper, is your husband here? I replied, yeah, he's in the shower. As you can see, it's about to go down. He said, oh yeah, I do see all of it. I said, you like what you see, young man? He said, oh yes, ma'am. I see you don't play no games, Miss Lady. He said to me, dripping with all of his divine masculine swag. Playing, I said, is exactly what I'm talking about. Poor thing. He doesn't even know what real playing is. I giggled. I found my money and gave it to him in an old school give me 5 hand clap exchange. Here you go, bruh. You be easy in these streets, young man. I gave him his money. I patted him on his arm and walked him to the door. He left, and that was that. Later that night, after my Mr. Rock My World, my cell phone went off. Text message. When do I get a chance to play with you? He pulled my damn card all the way out. I had to be slick, keep him guessing. I text back, when the universe aligns. And he replied, I can dig it. And then I text back again, oh yes, you definitely will dig it out. We carried on this way about 3 months. Flirting, talking shit. He sent me memes of a various sexual nature and I reciprocated. We chatted about divine mathematics and the NBA playoffs, ethical porn, and conspiracy theories. Then our number hit. The universe did indeed align itself in such a way that I was home alone all night. I cast the first stone. I got the okay from my mister, because that's how we roll. The other partner has final say in who we play with. I called, not text, number 27, straight up, and I said, I'm home, all alone, and I want you to come over here and fuck me. He asked if my husband knew about it, and I said yes. He replied, I'm on my way right now. I was nervous, I admit it. This was about to be a new, non-monogamous experience without my partner. It was a good type of nervous. I love sex and pleasure. That's why I'm in the lifestyle. The anticipation is so electric. I am a true hedonist. This I know. I trusted number 27. He'd been my herbalist for over 6 years. My mister put me on to him. And like my mister says, I deserve all the pleasure that I want. And whatever Duchess wants, Duchess gets. I had on an oversized red swoop neck lounge shirt with no bra and black and red pajama briefs with no panties. And then the doorbell rang. He came in and just had a seat. We kind of vibed and talked about our respective days. This was his first time in my presence in a non-professional capacity. And I was just looking at him, and he was looking at me. He asked me questions about being in the lifestyle, and we chatted about what we did and did not like with regard to sex. He wanted to know what it was really like at the swingers club. And I asked about him, about life as an herbalist. He told me he was saving his money to go to college and study botany. He was going on and on about hybrids and clean water, cross-pollination, organic fertilizer. And the nerd in me, let's just say I was getting moist. He had his arm propped up on the couch pillow, so I sat up on one leg and brushed my nipple against his hand. I felt him shiver. I hooked my index finger in the neck of his shirt and pulled him into my web. I kissed him softly at first, and then I let a little soft sigh and released the tension in my body. He caught my signal and wrapped his arm around my waist. I pulled him in closer, opened my mouth wider, and leaned back. He followed my rabbit right down the hole to Wonderland. He slid my PJs to the side and just reached in and grabbed at my pussy like he thought panties were going to be there. But he wasn't ready, not by a long shot, because I was soaking wet already. I slipped out of his hands. He said, "Damn, Miss Lady, your pussy is dripping wet." I said, "Little boy, I am a sex goddess. I know exactly what I call you over here for." He said, "Well, I ain't never felt one this wet before. Can I have it right now?" He was stroking my labia lips softly with his hand. It was slick, but I was not moved. Not yet, anyway. I said, "Where is your condom?" He said, "Right here." He patted his pocket. He pulled out 2 condoms. Good boy. "Get on with it," I said sternly, and we undressed like we were about to be caught by our parents at any minute. I played up the atmosphere by intentionally keeping our encounter in the living room. Very unromantic, circa 1995. When he pulled his shorts down, his dick kind of jumped out and bounced over the top like, "Yes, ma'am, you sent for me? Here I go." That shit was sexy to me. His dick was long and heavy. I watched him put the condom on, and I fixed the towel right up under my booty. He grabbed both of my ankles and tilted my whole body up and back. His strength was very impressive. You see, that's what that young tender cougar me to get you. Have your ass tilted up to the sky using no strength of your own. He looked down at me with a devilish grin and winked his eye. He licked my whole pussy, up my stomach, in between my titties, up my throat, and kissed me deep in my mouth. In one fell swoop, his dick was in my pussy, and I heard him whisper, "God damn." He looked down at me, and I winked at him this time. I could hear it gushing with every stroke. And since he was holding all of my lower body weight, I was able to leverage my pelvis and rock upward to match his rhythm. I was coming all over his dick. The water just poured out of me and splashed on the both of us. It sprinkled on my face hot. It sounded like a 12-egg omelet. I reached down to rub my own clit and take my orgasm higher. As I was just about to taste my juice, he said, "Nuh-uh, that's mine." And he sucked my fingers and licked my whole hand. He loosed my leg and straddled it, and then lifted my right leg clear across my body. The angle of his penetration was an orgasmic trip, and I definitely enjoyed the ride. He spun my whole body completely around into doggy style position while maintaining our connection, I might add. I used my forearms to rock my body back and forth on my knees. I could see his reflection in the mirror. He was in the zone. His eyes was closed. His mouth was wide open. His rhythm was like 1,000 drums. I saw him squinch up his face, and I knew he was about to come. I took a long, deep breath in and tightened my pussy around him. I held it 1, 2, 3, and then I released slowly all the air from my belly, all the air from my chest, and opened up my pussy walls. 1, 2, 3. I breathed slowly all the way in and all the way out and all the way down. He nutted. He jumped back, talking about my bad, I'm sorry. I think I just got carried away. I said, "Aw, it's not your fault, darling. I made you come on purpose. I gotta go to work in the morning. I don't have time to be fucking with you all night, young man." I said to him softly as I cupped his face, "There are towels in the bathroom on the counter already waiting for you." When he got up and went to the guest room, I dashed to the master bathroom myself so I could wash up. I put my robe on, I turned all the lights on, I fixed him a glass of ice water because I wanted him to be clear that now it was time to go. The business at hand was done. When he came out the bathroom, he caught my drift completely. He gulped his water down. He bent down and kissed the top of my hand, and I patted his head. It was real sweet. He said, "All right, Miss Lady, you know I'm finna go. I really enjoyed myself. I thank you so much for giving me the honor to be in your presence and experience your orgasm." He kissed my hand again, and I said, "You are most welcome, young man. And next time I need a tune-up, I make sure I call you first instead of second." He looked at me confused. I cupped his face, patted his ass, and sent him out the door. And that's the story of how I got initiated into the Cougar Club, number 27.